Hi folks, Steven here. So, I wanted to bring up a couple things in this video. The first is that earlier this week there was a list of locations for the 20th Pokemon movie limited US showings. And it was up very briefly on the Fathom website. You could enter in a city or zip code and a radius and stuff like that and find everything near you. Taken down later that day, and I think I have a good idea why. You see, there were about 92 locations listed, and if you sort of mapped it all out or looked a list up, you notice there were some pretty big gaps. For example, the entire state of New York, all 20 million people there were no locations anywhere in that state. But then you would look over at Wisconsin, where I am, and there's 13 locations, which I'm sure is a little bit puzzling and may have confused or even angered a few folks out there. So why is there such a disparity? Well, based on my knowledge and somewhat my experience with the Victini movie back in 2011, these locations aren't added all at once. They're added as the distributor, which is Fathom Events in this case, gets contracts signed with the various theater chains, and some are more dominant in certain parts of the country than others. So, to give you an example, one reason there's a lot of Wisconsin is that Marcus Theaters is centered there. And so that's why there's a lot in Wisconsin and a decent number in some of the surrounding states. Likewise, Texas, a state you would expect to have a lot of locations, does, but a lot of them are in the Studio Movie Grill chain. So that's what's going on there. And things will probably even out, but there can still be gaps with these types of things. For example, for the Victini movie, upstate New York was very poorly covered. There was like one location, and it was about 70 miles from Buffalo, and not much else to that part of the state. Everything else was near the city, and that just really had to do with what chain operated the movie theaters in that part of the state. And I guess they just, back then it was Cinedigm, and they just didn't have a relationship there, I guess. So we're just going to have to sit back and see how things develop. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave us a comment. I don't have any real deep knowledge on this. It's just my personal experience and a little bit of research. But, so that's what's going on with the 20th movie. So next up, I want to tell you about a couple music-related videos from some channels I've subscribed to. Now, these are not people actually performing music. This is talking about music. The first one is from the good folks at My Life in Gaming. They did a video on video game soundtracks. So they talk about their collection, sort of what's going on in the industry right now. And they also have a section on how to spot bootlegs, because those are out there. There are even a few Pokemon ones out there, to be honest. They sort of go over, what the defining characteristics are, how close they can get to the real thing. So that should be a good watch if you're interested in collecting soundtracks. The other one I found pretty interesting is from the Easter Egg Hunter. He did a video on hidden music in Nintendo games. So various, I don't want to spoil it too much, but if you go to certain places in games, there's a certain tune will start playing, and he sort of cataloged that from a series of Nintendo games. You should be seeing cards for both of these in the video, and I really do encourage you to check those out because they're both very interesting. All right, folks, thanks.